Riley Cooper, that dude deserves a statue.
Number one on your speed dial.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I didn't know until a couple days after the fact. I was like, wait a minute, is he the MVP or we got the all-tournament team?
No doubt about it.
And then Ty Floyd, when I struck out 17, and stole it from him. But I was like, when has a pitcher been a part of 5 of the 6 wins in Omaha? I mean, what a performance!
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time.
Pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Sorry I'm a little late, boys. At the spring game, obviously, as you can see. A couple of booze cruises here to do. Let's do it. Cruise. Grand salami to the boys. Finally back on track. And I got another one coming. Don't you think I don't? And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Clearing up, answering the question, I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast, no matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. Big start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you. Thanks, sir. Thank you for the time. Welcome into a Tuesday edition Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Tuesday from our Click Here Digital Campus. Make sure and give us a like, share, follow, subscribe if you've not already done so. We appreciate you being here on this Tuesday morning as we got lots to get to. Brooke Kirchhofer from New Orleans Football is going to be here at 7:45, and we'll also talk to Nick Underhill coming up here Excuse me, not Underhill. I was talking about New Orleans football, Nick Underhill and his crew. And then at 8:15, we'll talk to Wilson Alexander from The Advocate and NOLA.com as LSU obviously very active right now. Things happening. This is a very busy week in college football as far as what's going on. You got National Signing Day tomorrow as the early period, and then you also have the transfer portal and what's happening there. Ole Miss continuing to do work in the portal. A couple of the names that we told you about yesterday, Ole Miss was able to get, including a defensive back out of North Louisiana who was transferring out of Mississippi State. We'll tell you all about that. Remember, our phone lines are brought to you by Southern Regional Medical Center. Real doctors, real solutions over at Southern Regional Medical Center. And daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders live here at Click Here Digital. Lloyd is here on this Tuesday. We've also got Stewie here live on this Tuesday, and we'll be here with you until 9 a.m. this morning. A couple of recruiting news, including the number one quarterback in the country flipping his commitment from Georgia to Nebraska yesterday. You've seen this set up now. It's kind of all starting to make sense. Matt Rule, the way that he's been talking in the media, telling you how much quarterbacks cost, what the price of getting into the quarterback game is. But yesterday, they flipped the number one quarterback in the country in Dylan Raiola, who's played at 4 high schools in 4 years.
This is the perfect example of the portal with the 14-day window. He could go anywhere.
So the immediate reaction from the Nebraska faithful is that they nabbed the number one quarterback in the country, but they're gonna get left at the altar a year from now. As
played 1 year in Nebraska.
Is a guy that is one of these, I guess it would be called, like one of these modern day quarterbacks, one of these modern day recruits that jump around the country,
run a quarterback,
switch high schools.
He's an Army brat,
and now is going to the. I would imagine the highest bidder.
Yeah,
in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Well, when Matt Rule was speaking, I think everybody was kind of listening with one ear pretty close to the ground, going, he knows a good bit about this. They seem to be in the market for a quarterback. Didn't seem so much that he was complaining about the price. He was just letting people know what the price is.
Price of admission.
Whether he's talking to Raiola or any transfer quarterback in the country, or a recruit. Like, look, I know what it costs, and I'm willing to talk about it openly, and we're sitting at the table waiting.
Rules also kind of outsmarted the room here. He had Raiola's uncle, Donovan Raiola, on staff and was able to retain him and sidestep an NCAA violation or rule.
It's the old school way.
That's right, and got in on the family very early there, as it was Donovan Raiola recently earned a massive contract extension with the Cornhuskers over the season. Whether that had anything to do with his nephew, we'll wait to be seen. That would be speculation at this point. But a smart play by Matt Rule and Nebraska. Nebraska is one of those programs that is sitting on a pile of cash. Like, they have one of the most rabid, one of the most intense, obsessive fan base that wants nothing more to find their heyday, get it back, than Nebraska. And for them now to be able to openly pay players, I think they have they got a nice little bank of cash that they can play with. So yesterday, Dylan Raiola is a big flip from the University of Georgia as he flips over to Nebraska. From LSU's standpoint, a big loss yesterday with the defensive back in the portal yesterday. Obviously, LSU is in the game and trying to get into the portal and make some news here, but was able to. They were not able to close on. Why can't I find his name? The DeMarcus.
Richards.
The Camryn Richards. Kid out of North Louisiana.
I didn't know where you were in the forest. I could not find you. I was trying to help. I didn't know you were talking about Sage Ryan. I didn't know if you were talking about Morris. I was just going to let you figure it out. Tackett Curtis. So many names in the portal.
There is.
The portal the
portal right now is
portaling.
It's out of control. I mean, I think we anticipated so many names to be in there, so many guys to be in the portal, and so many stories to be following here on this third day. it is wild, right? I mean, the day after LSU lands a quarterback in the portal and A.J. Swan. Swan comes in here. He spent the past 2 seasons in Vanderbilt. He started in 6 games in Vanderbilt while completing just over 195 passes, 12 touchdowns. He is the 2023 quarterback. Going into the season, he was the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt. He was sidelined due to an injury. So LSU is able to bring in a quarterback that has some SEC experience. And the way that the quarterback room is right now going into the season, we knew that they were going to be in the market for some type of depth, right? They wanted to build some type of, at least some type of insurance policy behind Garrett Nussmeier that if he was to not finish the season or go down, that you would be able to lean on somebody that understood and had the experience in the league and, had some starts under their belt. I don't think that this is any disparaging move against Ricky Collins. I think that they're, they are fine with the development and the track that Ricky Collins is on. It's just if, you get into a situation next season where you've got to go to a backup, where you've got to get to another quarterback, you definitely want to have somebody on staff who has the experience in playing, and I think that was the move that LSU was able to bring in with A.J. Swan. I don't think that this is somebody that's coming in to unseat Garrett Nussmeier. I think this is Garrett Nussmeier's offense. I think this is his team. I think this is his job in 2023 and 2024 to lose. I really do think that they're setting it up to really hand the keys over to Nussmeier. But they just need some insurance. They need some security on if he was to fall, if he was to go down, that you got that experience behind him that you can count on. So that's how I kind of read into the A.J. Swan commitment and him joining the team.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It did feel like a depth move. But if you're A.J. Swan, why would you go from being a starter somewhere to, like, they had to tell him that it's an somewhat open competition in his mind? Because why would you leave a place to go, all right, you're going to go back up Nussmeier. This is how it all plays out.
I don't know if he was a starter at Vanderbilt.
He was. He started 2 years. He started as a freshman, and he played 6 games last year, and then I don't know if he got unseated or got hurt.
Yeah, he had an elbow injury.
Yeah, so he was playing, and so I don't know if Vanderbilt brought somebody in, but it doesn't feel like if he's coming to LSU, he's not coming to be a starter. At least that's how I read the room. So if you're him, what were you told to where you're like, all right, LSU seems like a good place for me to land?
On
for
why?
Swan, yeah, why?
Well, I think if you're a quarterback, LSU's very attractive to you right now.
True.
I think that if you are someone who looks at LSU's roster, it's very intriguing from a offensive standpoint when you look at what's on campus right now and what's coming to campus. If you're paying attention and looking in recruiting, this is a place that makes a lot of sense for quarterbacks to be attracted to. So I don't think that the sell from LSU standpoint is that hard if, you have a clear understanding of what you're stepping into. I don't think anybody's coming in to LSU with this true feeling that the job is yours, right? Even when Jaden Daniels made the move over 2 years ago, that was coming over to compete for the job. At this point, this very much feels like this is Garrett Nussmeier's room and job to lose. He's been on campus now 4 years. It'll be here 4 years when he takes over as the starter. That is, by any standard, enough time and enough development to become the starter in the league. So now is the time for Nussmeier. I just think that from LSU's standpoint, you're selling the one play away method. To quarterbacks. You're talking about guys that you got offensive linemen that you're selling, whether it's Campbell or Will Campbell or Emory Jones, or whether it's wide receivers like Kyron Lacey, and looking down the depth chart at guys like Shelton Sampson and Jaylen Brown and Kyle Parker, and guys that are you can tell are set to have breakout type performances. That it's very intriguing to be a quarterback and to be. From a signal caller standpoint to look at LSU and think that they're interested in you. I mean, it's just I would think it was an easy sell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I understand why you would want to come to LSU, but I just feel like I feel like the biggest thing that you would want, and the whole part of entering the transfer portal is looking for playing time. But I guess if you can convince him that, hey, you can come get practice reps and compete, quote unquote, with, Nussmeier and you're one snap away, I can see all that. And I think the biggest selling point is probably come look at this offense and come look how good you can get developed. And maybe you go as a graduate transfer somewhere after you feel like you've learned from, if Joe Sloan is who you think he is, which I do, one of the best quarterback developers in the country. You almost go here as a way to, it's like spending a year abroad where you learn something different, you kind of learn to trade and get better at it, and then you can go look again, because Vanderbilt right now doesn't have a quarterback on their, I think they have one quarterback on their roster. Both of them hit the portal.
Yeah, and look, another wide receiver that we mentioned when you're selling LSU is Xavier Thomas, who they just picked up out of the portal out of Mississippi State. And Thomas, to me, is an interesting take and an interesting subject because, one thing that LSU has right now is the number one offense in the country. I think that they're going to regress from that spot, right? I think they're not going to have the number one country in the number one offense in the country next season as well. They might, and it would be surprising if they did, but with the guys that they're losing off of that offense after Jaden Daniels announced yesterday that he'll be sitting out of the bowl game, he's making himself eligible and getting ready for the draft, which makes a ton of sense, but obviously losing the player of the year in college football at quarterback and losing two of the potent weapons ideally at this point in Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, as Thomas came out and said both those guys expected to play in the bowl. They're practicing and they're going through the prep, so expect to see them on January 1st in the ReliaQuest Bowl, but I wouldn't expect to see them for too long. But you would imagine that you're losing those two guys. You're obviously losing Malik Neighbors, but Thomas as well. So I think that you're gonna slide back a little bit from the production element of the number one offense in the country. And one thing LSU is going to have to really pay attention to and become, a game breaker in the sense of is in special teams again, right? Because over the last couple of years, LSU has pretty much just forfeited the opportunity to make a play in special teams, specifically at punt returner. And, we've gone over this, countless times. I mean, LSU has always had a game breaker at punt returner. I mean, going back to guys like Eddie Kinnison and Todd Kinchin and Skylar Green and Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Odell Beckham. I mean, Kevin Falk. They've always had guys that could bust a game open as a special teamer. And for the past two seasons, they have really kind of just said, no mas. They just catch it, fair catch it, spot the ball, give it to the offense. And this past season, that makes a ton of sense, right? A lot like when you had Derek Stingley back there in 19, and you just say, hey, man, look, don't even give the opportunity to give the ball back over and take away a possession from Burrow in this offense. You tell Gregory Clayton, go back there, catch it, get the ball to Jaden Daniels, and let him do his thing. Coming up this season, I don't necessarily believe that they're going to have the number one offense in the country. They're still going to be very high-powered on the offensive side of the ball, and they will be someone that is going to be a threat that you play against each week. If you're going up against LSU's offense, you got your hands full. But they need to get back to having that threat, that game breaker, that chance to change the scoreboard at a special team spot and at punt returner. And I think Xavier Thomas is going to be that guy. He was a freshman All-American punt returner by the Football Writers Association back in 2022. He is experienced in this. As a freshman, he ranked 5th nationally in punt return average. He had a career-long punt return versus Georgia that season. So he is a guy who comes over with immense experience in this department. This is a guy that, look, we've talked about Aaron Anderson in this role. We've talked about other players in this role. Xavier Thomas comes over here as a proven player in this department. When Aaron Anderson came over, he was a proven special teamer at Carr, right? Which, look, I mean, he had 20 touchdowns as a punt returner in high school. Aaron Anderson did over his 4 years at Carr. He had 20 touchdowns from that spot. You would think that would translate to college football. LSU did not have they did not give him a long leash at punt returner. He dropped the first one against Florida State, and we never saw him again. A lot like Malik Neighbors 2 years ago. He dropped 2 in that opening game, never saw him again. Right? Like, I mean, I'd imagine after watching Malik Neighbors play a lot of football over the last few years, he'd be a pretty good punt returner.
Jeez.
Right?
I mean, imagine if they give him one more chance.
You never saw him back there again. I don't know if Anderson will get a shot, but I'd imagine that without question, Xavier Thomas will be a guy that you can at least say, hey, look, you've got the experience, you know what to do back here, you understand the importance of ball security, and possibly giving LSU that guy again that can change the scoreboard.
But it just feels like an absolutely legitimate threat, right? Like, you lose Gregory Clayton for this year. Like, he's exhausted his eligibility, so you don't have your security blanket that you're so used to be able to trot out there. And who was Stewart? Who was the other guy that started kind of returning some kicks?
Javen Nichols.
Yeah,
33.
You saw them starting to like kind of work through what the plan would be without Greg Clayton next year. But if you can add Xavier Thomas into the fold, I feel like he's a plug and play. Like, I know we talked about Aaron Anderson a lot, but the only sample size you had was from him in high school, where it's a totally different game when you get to college. Like, those punts look a lot different in high school than they do in college. It becomes like professional. It becomes a lot harder. Like, the punts are just different. So Aaron Anderson was never that proven as a college kick returner. Xavier Thomas has the film out there where he did it for 2 years that you trust to put it back there to not only, one, not turn it over, but two, kind of break the game open for you. And if you're Xavier Thomas, you look at the wide receiver room and you go, I don't know if they really have anybody like me. Like, you could say Aaron Anderson, but you could also say Xavier Thomas is that same kind of guy that you can plug and play into that kind of game breaker role where this offense becomes a little bit more dynamic with him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that Xavier Thomas is a guy, he's not huge. I mean, if you look at him, 5'11", 190 pounds. If he resembles anybody, he resembles Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
I mean, with the way that he plays. By no means am I calling him, Malik Neighbors. Neighbors is the best wide receiver in college football, but Xavier Thomas comes in here with a lot of stuff that, looks very inviting to LSU, and the most of it being, his punt returning ability. I mean, he's got some skins on the wall as far as some production, as far as accomplishments at that spot, and really I think can step in and help LSU immediately as far as getting in and really stepping in and helping in that role. So remember, Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at Pierce Bespoke. Pierce Bespoke Suits, a mobile tailor service that you can find right here in Baton Rouge, and you can get in touch with Grayson Augustus and his team today if you want at piercebespoke.com. In fact, if you mention the show, you save yourself $200 on your first custom fit. But as we said, a mobile tailoring service headquartered right here in Baton Rouge. They host trunk shows across the country. They will come to you, take the measurements, and get you suited up for your custom design suit. Online, piercebespoke.com. If you mention the show, if you mention the Jordy Culotta Show, you'll save $200 on your first custom fit. piercebespoke.com. Get in touch with them and tell them you heard it on the show so you can save $200 over with our friends at Pierce Bespoke. So LSU obviously looking to make more of a splash in the transfer portal as things really up and moving right now as far as where people are going to land, what's going on as far as commitments and visits go. So really LSU in the middle of that yesterday. Some other news yesterday around high school recruiting. Harlem Berry, who is the country's #1 running back in the 2024 class, changed his commitment, 2025 class, changed his commitment from December 18th, which was yesterday, to January 3rd. That'll be at the All-American game where he takes the stage as a Under Armour All-American in Orlando, Florida. So he's set to make his announcement from that first underclassman annual. This is a first, right? Because this is set to be the annual All-Americans. He is set to be the annual All-American Games first underclassman to reveal his college pledge at the game.
Oh.
So he's going to the game as a next year participant.
Yeah.
He's not playing in this year's game.
So they do
but he's going to make his announcement at this year's game, which is being played on January 3rd.
But before they play in the game, they do like the
junior day.
Yeah, the juniors have like
Combine.
like a 7-on-7 combine type of thing. So he'll probably be participating in that. Keelan Moses will probably participate. Like, you'll probably see a couple of LSU.
Moore.
Right. You'll probably see a couple of LSU commits or targets playing in the All-American Bowl or playing in the Junior All-American Bowl.
Bryce Underwood.
Yeah. All the studs.
Right. So right now, I mean, look, the big news on the calendar is obviously going to be recruiting. And whether it's out of the portal or whether it's through high school recruiting, you're just in the teeth of it right now. So LSU picks up Vanderbilt transfer quarterback A.J. Swan yesterday. Harlan Berry moves his commitment date back to January 5th, January 3rd. Ole Miss right now is cleaning up in the portal. They have backed up the truck. I mean, whoever is writing the checks over at Oxford has obviously had enough. They said whatever it takes, go get the crew. They're going to bring him in. Looks like Lane Kiffin's going to have a defense.
Yeah. But, I mean, I was kind of talking to the Lord after the show yesterday, and I was telling him, like, I see what he's doing, and he's getting good players. He's getting quality players, but they don't have any depth. Like, they're just basically a top-heavy football team. Like, they'll be a top-heavy football team. One of those dudes go down, who's their backup?
Yes, I mean,
and Lane doesn't care who their backup is. He's caring about the headliners. So that's all. That's my only crux against the Ole Miss portal splashes.
And I think he saw, if you're Lane Kiffin and you look at your schedule, guess who's not on there?
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he knows like it's 12-team playoff. He'll be able to probably get himself in. He would have been in this year. So,
I mean, their schedule is Furman, Middle Tennessee State, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, Kentucky, South Carolina. That's 6 wins. And then you go LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. Like, none of those games scare you, especially in the order in which they're in. Like LSU, Oklahoma, maybe you don't know what Oklahoma is going to look like.
They have to come to Baton Rouge, though.
Yeah, but you can lose 1 or 2 of these. You can lose to LSU and Georgia, the only 2 that you're not going to be favored in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're Lane, this is the perfect time to try to make a move for a chance to finally put Ole Miss officially on like the scene, where it feels like they've been around. Like, oh, they break through. Yeah, like it's always been a fun game. Like every time somebody's played, like, oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But you don't expect Ole Miss to actually make waves or become a team that's a threat to win anything, or certainly not a national championship or an SEC championship. Now it feels like with the pieces they're adding, this is kind of Lane Kiffin going, I'm tired of coming in second. Like, let's see what we can do here and see if Ole Miss can become a viable player in the SEC.
And it's almost like he's selling out for this last season of, like, you got Judkins in his last year probably.
Well, he knows he's got this offense.
Right. Your quarterback's back.
I mean, it looks as if he's looking at their offense next season and saying, we don't want to be LSU.
Yeah.
We don't want to have the best offense in the country
and can't
defense. Stop anybody. Right? Because as this season, like we've talked about, gets further away from LSU, the more you're going to look back and say, man, look at what they sacrificed with not having a defense and how electric that offense is. I mean, it's only a matter of time before we look up on Sundays and Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels are changing scoreboards, right? Where you're going to be like, man, all 3 of these guys were on the same team? I mean, you had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson on the same field last Sunday. How many times did the broadcast say, it's crazy to think that these 2 guys were on the same college team, right? But now, I mean, those 2 guys can say it with a natty behind their name. They're going to be calling Thomas and Neighbors game for the next decade saying, these cats were on the same team and they didn't make the SEC title? Like, forget the natty. Forget the playoff.
Nothing.
Like, these guys played in the ReliaQuest Bowl? I mean, it is wild to think of just
I mean, even
how bad the defense was. I mean, like what they sacrificed.
Even Jarvis and Odell played in the Natty. Like,
Yeah.
if you think about all the receiver duos that have played here, like they all played the Natty. Josh Reed and I'm blanking on the other guy's name. Josh Reed and Michael Clayton played in the Natty.
No. It was Josh Reed missed the Natty. His last season was 01. It was Michael Clayton was the lead receiver
On the 03
on
team.
that 03 team, and Skylar Green.
Either way, they had a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like all these duos played in a national championship, and then you look at Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, and they did not because of a defense.
And
Like
that's what the crazy thing is for if you've ever I'd imagine everybody that listens to the show has followed LSU football for quite some time, and you took a duo like that because the offense was always kind of hanging behind a little bit, and you were so dominant on defense, but when you had two playmakers, it was like, okay, they can score enough. And now the last, I guess, in this 5-year run of LSU being more dominant on the offensive end, this is the first time where it's come home to roost. It's like, oh shit, they don't have a defense.
Yeah.
And like now it feels like it's almost switched the pendulum of LSU is an offensive heavy team, and now they got to go find defense. You feel a little bit like Ole Miss, where you got to go, like it's not the vaunted LSU of, oh God, like you're not gonna be able to score. Like you're gonna be in a
LSU
fist
just
fight.
pulled up.
Right, and now it's LSU's gonna put 40, but can they stop anybody from scoring 40?
Yeah.
And it feels like Ole Miss is trying to alleviate that with what they're doing through the portal, and LSU has rumblings of their starters leaving for the portal. When you have, I guess Sage Ryan's the biggest name that isn't officially in the portal, but has announced his intent to go into the portal, and that's a starter. I mean, I don't know how people feel about Sage Ryan. It feels like he got a little bit better at corner whenever he found officially a place to play, because he's been tossed around like, I mean, LSU has done this in history, whether it be Jacoby Stevens, who was the cat that played wide receiver and defensive back. He made the catch in the spring game that everybody freaked out about. Devontae Lee, like same thing with him. You couldn't find him, like freak athlete. Sage Ryan is a 5-star coming out of high school, and they electric punt returner, played offense, and then you landed LSU and you don't know if he's a safety, a nickel, a corner, and he's just kind of bounced around and never really gotten his feet set. And then at the end of this year, it felt like he kind of settled in at corner, but he's obviously looking for something like to be utilized in a different way.
Well, I think that's what he's looking for. I think he's looking for somebody to finally put him in a spot that he can be evaluated at, that the next level has a chance to make a grade on him. Because, I mean, in all fairness, I think Sage Ryan deserves a lot more credit than he got this season, because he stepped up and filled a role that LSU was absolutely void in.
And he's never played cornerback before.
And he never has played the position in his life. And I don't care how long you've played football or how long you've been around a sport, if you're playing a new position on a field that you've just never done, there is a period of time that it takes to get back acquainted and or just get acquainted to the position, learn how to play it. And towards the end of the season, where, you know, Sage Ryan played over 630 snaps for LSU this year, you could see the light starting to finally, you know, start to come on a bit for Ryan. I'm not saying that he was all league, and I'm not saying he was a shutdown guy, but you could start to see the strides that he was taking on improving as a cornerback. And in the grand scheme of it, he's not a corner. You know, at the very best, he may be a nickel, but ultimately, he's a safety. And I think that's what his desire for the portal would be. I don't think that he wants to leave LSU. I don't think that he wants to leave at this point in his career, but he wants to be in a system that can use him the right way, that gives a true evaluation and a true opportunity to be graded for the next level. And if LSU can put him in the right position, I think he would ideally like to stay here. But, you know, I mean, you do have to meet the player at some point when the player is given and
done everything you've
responded
asked.
that you've asked him to do, right? I mean, he's not Corey Webster. You know, I mean, he's not. I mean, hell, he's not Greedy Williams. He's not one of these corners that come in and you're like, that's the guy.
He's
right?
a cornerback.
Like, make him the corner. I mean, Sage Ryan became a corner because you looked around 5-6 months ago and you were like, fellas, I mean,
Sage?
There's not a corner in sight.
J.K. Johnson's hurt.
Right.
I mean, you can't get Denver Harris and Deuce Chestnut to abide. J.K. Johnson is hurt. Zy Alexander's performing. He gets hurt. You look around and finally you're like, hey, Sage, you're one of the best athletes on the team. Can you
Help
do
us
this?
out.
And ultimately he does and goes through a lot of rough, points in finding his way. But like I said, towards the end of the year, I mean, we can sit here and talk about all the stuff that you look at and say he's definitely not a corner. But, I mean, you pull up some of the plays and some of the things he did over the last couple of weeks, and he was definitely, he was definitely, making more plays than guys that you had back there. I know it's not saying a lot, but, I mean, he deserves a lot more credit than I think ultimately
He got
this season just because of how he stepped up and
he filled a need.
Sage Ryan's been doomed since the start. Ed Orgeron doomed him from day one.
Oh, when he crowned him?
When he kept telling people that he was going to play, then he doesn't play, then he's going to play, then he doesn't play, then he finally plays against Florida. You see a little bit of him, and everybody's like, oh, my God, that's the 5-star we've been looking for. And he looked great. And then after that, it was just like, okay. He just kind of stayed the same, and then they kept bumping him around. And now he finds a position, and he finally gets comfortable at the end of the season, and he looked great at the end of the year. But at the beginning of the year, he kind of just
looked lost.
Yeah, he just struggled because it's a new position. Like, I've never played corner before. So you asking me to backpedal, go cover this receiver, like, I've never done this before, Coach. I'm going to be honest.
The football has always been in front of me.
Like,
now
that island gets real lonely
Uh-huh.
when you've never been there before. So,
yeah, and I think could also be a little bit of a play of, all right, I've done everything y'all have asked. Now it's my turn. Like, all right, I was a good sport. I was a good player. I did everything y'all asked. Now I can go and leave y'all in a little bit of a pickle because LSU hasn't. You don't have too much of, I guess, what you lose in Sage Ryan is the accountability, responsibility, and the veteran presence. LSU doesn't have that. Utility also.
Like just somebody that you can look at and say.
But you don't have a lot of experience on the defensive end.
That's going to help him in the future.
That's what I'm saying. He has a bargaining chip.
Right.
And if he wants to play it, so be it. If that's NIL or if that's just, I just want a little bit of respect, dog. Like, sorry if I'm putting you, I'm just putting this out there. Put a little feeler out, see how much y'all like me. And I think he's learned that. I mean, this is where we are right now with the transfer portal and NIL. It's just a play that he can make, and if LSU wants to see him go, they don't have to respond. But if they want him back, I'd imagine you'll see this announcement come down where, all right, I've officially not put my name in the portal. I'm at LSU. I've never left.
The other name that we've heard that's in the portal that not officially is in the portal. You know who it is?
Tackett?
No, this is LSU guy.
LSU guy. A name that we've heard that's in the portal that's not officially in the portal.
Another Coach O guy.
Damn. Bryce Langston?
Yes, sir.
Wait, what? So he's staying?
Sage Ryan and Bryce Langston are two names that we've heard that are in the portal, but they're not officially
in
the portal.
Never leaving.
Is Bryce Langston and Sage Ryan.
Love this shit. Never leaving.
Yeah, I got to talk to Coach O. Say, Bryce, you ain't going nowhere. It's a year.
Hey, boy, I told you it was going to be on the bayou at LSU. You're going to stay there.
Remember our guys over at Hughes Mechanical. Mechanical contractors, residential and commercial contractors of HVAC services. You can call them today at 225-658-2147. 225-658-2147. Most trusted and experienced professionals you'll find in AC here in the state of Louisiana. Get in touch with our friends at Hughes Mechanical, Travis Hughes and the crew over at Hughes Mechanical Contractors. They are a trusted Daikin dealer over there, and they can help you out online. HughesMechanical.net, HughesMechanical.net, or call them 225-658-2147. 225-658-2147 is the phone number. We come back. We'll talk to Brooke Kirchhofer here of New Orleans.football. She'll stop by and give us the latest on what's happening with the New Orleans Saints. Saints off of a couple of wins here as they're riding a win streak. Derek Carr, 3 touchdown passes last week versus Who'd they play last weekend? The Giants.
Giants. Tommy
Wait,
Cutlets.
have y'all seen the Tommy DeVito news? He went to the media team and told them stop with the Italian shit. He just wants to play football. Yeah, he got into it with because they asked him to
one bad game,
and they asked him to do like a short of like his best Italian spots or something, and like that just sent him over the top. And he was like, "All right, look, I'm here to play.
This isn't that much fun anymore when I'm losing."
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the other foot always drops. This is one of the wildest years of quarterbacking I think I've ever seen in the NFL. Like when there's
got
never
Joe Flacco back in the league.
There's never been a bigger precedent to keep the quarterback healthy than what the NFL has tried to do, and now they're dropping like flies. Like you have a Tommy DeVito, Joshua Dobbs, like you have the full Icarus moment where they fly so close to the sun and then they burn down. And like this is the life of a backup quarterback. They're not going. You didn't just find a star,
right?
This is somebody that is just playing with their hair on fire. It's like, oh shit, I think I'm playing good.
There's only one Kurt Warner,
right? Doesn't happen all that often.
Next two for the Saints are at LA and at Tampa. They're at LA this weekend at the Rams, and then they're visiting Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on New Year's Eve. Is how they'll close out the year. So we will talk to Brooke about the 7-7 New Orleans Saints here coming up at 7:45 this morning from NewOrleans.football. Remember, our move over to NewOrleans.football is going down on January 1st. If you have not subscribed to NewOrleans.football's YouTube page, make sure and get over there. They're building a nice, beautiful studio over in the city. Looks like right off of Vets that is going to be up and moving for the first of the year. So we'll have a headquarters down in New Orleans as well. When we're down there, we'll be able to go live. So really looking forward to the expansion of the brand and being able to jump aboard and team up with NewOrleans.football. Make sure you're following that crew on YouTube for all of the latest and what's happening there. We will talk to Brooke coming up here in a couple of minutes about what's going on with the Saints. So looking forward to that. We'll take a quick break, come right back, and we'll talk New Orleans Saints with Brooke Kirchhofer and close out hour one here on the Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B daily and over here live from Click Here Digital.
Hey, Chino. Cut my headphones up, bro.
Okay, Gordon, ready to talk a little bit about yourself today? Okay, good. Tell us, who is Gordon McCurdy?
Great question. In a lot of ways, I'm just like most people. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. I am a brother. I'm a Christian. I am a Tigers fan. I am a Louisiana sportsman. But above all, I am grateful to the people of Louisiana. We want to be your lawyers for life. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and in every Louisiana house, all the creatures were stirring.
Santa's coming.
Even the mouse. The stockings were hung, the cookies were out. Santa was on his way to Louisiana, there was no doubt. So let's celebrate the season and start the new year off right. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
It was Christmas Eve, Santa Claus was riding in his sleigh. He was packed with toys for the girls and boys, merrily on his way. When a Grinch riding on a reindeer, full ride. Santa Claus got Gordon, got it done.
Merry Christmas from Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Right there. Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving.
driving around it. They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like a whip in a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me, cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best for me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners.
All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built and powered by our friends over at RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Get in touch with Rhett and the crew. We're live on X, on Twitter as well. If you're watching on social media and need an outlet on social media, we're live there each and every day. If you're looking to follow the New Orleans Saints news on social media, you can always follow our girl Brooke Kirchhofer. She's at Brooke Chesney. She's a part of New Orleans.football. We are joining the team on January 1st. I guess we're a part of the team now, but officially we'll be there on January 1st. New studio going up for New Orleans.football. Looking forward to that. A lot of cool stuff happening, but we remind you all the time, make sure you're following that crew on YouTube, as you can find New Orleans.football over on YouTube to catch up with the latest. Brooke, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. 2 wins in a row. We're feeling it, right?
They won't die.
Yeah. We've been waiting to see the Saints put together a win like this, Jordy.
I'm telling you. What about Sunday? It was awesome. The offense performed. Carr was performing. Everybody was great. The dome was in a good mood. This is kind of what we envisioned.
That's what happens when all 22 finally do their assignment. How many times have they been talking about execution, all guys on offense, defense, and special teams showing up? You finally had the perfect storm. It just took until week 15 to see it. Look, the Saints have had some good wins this year, but this is the first real complete win. The defense came out from jump all over the field, backed by Demario Davis, who, as Dennis Allen said, he was everywhere in the first quarter. The Saints racked up 7 sacks against a mobile quarterback in Tommy DeVito. They also stopped Saquon Barkley, who, as we know, was trending up in the last couple weeks. And then Darren Waller, the big tight end who has given the Saints real fits in the past, comes back from IR, and the Saints essentially take him away. He had 4 catches for 40 yards, and that was it. They didn't score a touchdown. This is now back-to-back weeks where the Saints have not allowed a team in the end zone. Meanwhile, Derek Carr had his most efficient game as a quarterback as a New Orleans Saint, 89.1% completion rate. He did only throw for 218 passing yards, so that can continue to get better. That's something they obviously want to build on. But the fact that he was so accurate, threw 3 touchdowns, really, really impressive all-around effort when you don't have Marshall Lattimore, Michael Thomas, Marcus Mayer, Chris Olave in a game, or Ryan Ramczyk at right tackle against a team that blitzes 3rd most in the NFL. All in all, just a really, really solid win that we couldn't really point to a whole lot of negatives in this one. This was a complete win that we've been expecting the Saints all year to be able to put together, given the talent on this roster. It just took them a little while to get to it.
Yeah, but more on Carr's performance, was it something that you saw that the offense maybe helped him out with play calling, or was it just kind of all of it coming together on one Sunday?
Absolutely play calling. Pete Carmichael is somebody that we talked so down on at the beginning of the season. He's been somebody who has had quite the turnaround with the play calling. I believe they used the most play action all year in this last game. They used Jimmy Graham more. You saw Juwan Johnson get more involved. A lot of people talked about how the tight ends just have not been getting used, specifically Juwan Johnson. And Dennis Allen actually went up to Juwan Johnson this week in the locker room and said, look, man, we are going to give you the opportunities. It's about taking advantage of them. I want to see that this Sunday. And Juwan Johnson, to his credit, did take advantage of the opportunities in the game. We continue to see how much of a threat Jimmy Graham is with some of these jump balls. Just throw it up to him. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously, if nobody else is going to be able to steal that ball out of the air from Jimmy Graham, continue to do that, especially this week on a short week. Now that you're going to LA and taking on the Rams, you're going to need a guy like Jimmy Graham in the red zone going up against a really stout defense there in LA.
Have you got an explanation on why it's been so hard for him to crack the lineup? I mean, his not.
Of course not.
Even the TV copy. I mean, last week the TV crew was like, I got to read these stats again. I mean, like he's got like 6 catches, 4. I mean, like they're like, what is the deal? But I mean, every time he's in, he makes a play.
Jordy, it would mean that they would have to say they were wrong and that they were putting him as an inactive because they didn't think I don't know, did they think he was washed? I would love to hear an explanation, but you're not going to get it because that would require the offensive coordinator and the head coach to say, we were wrong, we should have been using him more. Now, you can kind of catch the hint from head coach Dennis Allen. He gives you kind of that grin or laughs it off like, yeah, I know you guys are going to keep asking it. But look, we're going to continue using him, so they're hoping that will blanket the fact that he was inactive for so many weeks. But it's crazy to think that Jimmy Graham might have been the guy that could have unlocked Derek Carr and helped this red zone woes. The Saints are 9 of 10 in red zone trips in their last 3 games. That is no secret reason why Jimmy Graham has king in this offense, and they should continue using him there.
Multi-sack performance on the defensive end for the Saints last week. You mentioned not allowing a touchdown. What was it about that crew that had a performance so well? They knocked DeVito out of the game.
No, he ruined his life.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of this. A lot of this
it was a long week for the Paisan.
I loved it. So we actually found out that Brian Brzez's got a little Italian in him, and I think that's where it started. You saw him and Tano Passigno, who combined had 5 sacks. Tano really stepped up in the interior defensive line. He had 3 sacks in the game. The rookie Brian Brzee had 2 sacks, and after each sack, you saw him hit the Tommy DeVito hand gesture. Really impressive performance. I think it says a lot about some of the veterans in that group. Cam Jordan was only involved first and second down, which we have seen so far this year. Didn't see a whole lot of production from him, but you didn't really need to. You saw everybody else step up. Carl Granderson had a sack again. Demario Davis led the team in tackles. Guy was all over the place. So when Demario Davis is playing like that, he absolutely, that's not just a flash in the pan. Demario Davis is that good. And if he can put together back-to-back performances, the Saints could beat the Rams this Thursday. A couple weeks ago, I would not have been confident saying that, but it goes back to what Saints team are you getting? Are you getting the defense from the first quarter against the Detroit Lions where they gave up 21 points and were down 21-0? Are you getting the offense from Houston that looked absolutely abysmal in the red zone and just could not finish off drives? Or are you going to get this team that finally put it all together against the New York Giants? It's up to the Saints at this point. It is their own destiny. It is up to them. If they play like they did against the Giants and potentially get Chris Olave back this week, they have a real chance at winning out and winning 10 games. It's crazy to sit here and say this, but they did quiet the noise. We continued to say how bad the offense had been run by Derek Carr, and it had been. He was a middle-of-the-pack quarterback and was really struggling. Now they've put together a game plan, and they've shown that, look, it's possible. They can win with this guy at quarterback. It depends on the play calling. How are they reading the defense? All of those things have to come together, but Alvin Kamara did the dirty work. He's somebody we didn't really talk a whole lot about because no touchdowns, didn't see him a whole lot in the red zone, but he got him there. He had over 100 scrimmage yards again. I believe he reached 1,000 yards in this game, 1,000 season yards, and that's his 10th, I believe, in 7th or 10th. I could be wrong on that, in his NFL career. But Jamal Williams is starting to pick up steam and figure some things out. Really, really impressed with this offensive line. I can't overstate the fact that we thought this game was lost with right tackle Ryan Ramczyk out. The reason why we say that is we didn't expect Cam Ervin to be starting at right tackle. I know that surprised a lot of people, but I didn't see him at practice for the last 2 days. So we thought, all right, it's going to be Landon Young. Landon Young has played one snap at right tackle, and it was against the Atlanta Falcons, and he got cooked, and Derek Carr got sacked. Landon Young did not allow one sack in this game. The one that came off the right side was actually Jamal Williams not picking up the blitz, which he typically has been really good at this year. So, man, all-around great performance for the Saints and the offensive line in this game.
You mentioned Ramczyk. He was a scratch before kickoff, and then they did not play. They played without Olave, who was still nursing that ankle. Any update on those two? Those are two pretty big names here for the end of the season.
So Ryan is the big question mark because he's been dealing with a degenerative knee issue that over time is just going to catch up with him. And unfortunately, it's most likely going to end his NFL career one day. This is something they've managed. That's why Ryan Ramczyk has been every single Wednesday. He's not on the practice field. He has a veteran rest day to work to make sure that knee is ready to go. And this week it really bothered him and obviously took him out of the game. I don't know if that's more so looking forward and them trying to get him ready for Thursday. That's probably not the case. If the Saints are better when he's in the game, no matter who it is. So we'll see. Today they have a walkthrough, so not necessarily a full practice, which is a little, I would say, concerning. You didn't practice Monday. You're going to do a walkthrough Tuesday, and you're only going to practice Wednesday to get ready for the Rams. I get it. It's a short week. You want to keep everybody fresh, but to me, having just one full practice when your season's on the line, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. We are going to see Chris Olave today. Chris Olave is dealing with an ankle injury. Dennis Allen said he'll be involved in some form or fashion, but it'll be very limited, and it's of course just a walkthrough today. Chris could be back by Thursday, but that one is really a toss-up. I feel like Ryan Ramczyk would be back sooner potentially than Chris might be. Also, Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore, they could return to practice this week. The practice window could open this week for both of them. Dennis Allen said that will not be the case. They will not be ready to go this week, and honestly, he said that he doesn't even know what their timetable is. So we'll see if Michael Thomas and Marshawn Lattimore do return. I know that Michael Thomas was planning on being back for the Falcons game if the season was on the line. So take that with what you will. We'll see if those guys are back in a uniform this season.
Appreciate that, Mikey T.
Call me when you need me.
As your stand-up yesterday, I saw you outside the facility with your stand-up, New Orleans.football. Brooke, how likely is it? Can they make the playoffs? Can they win the NFC South? I watched the Carolina-Atlanta game. That looked like a Division II spring game on TV.
Oh, it's terrible.
How likely can they win the conference or their division?
Yeah, the division's so bad. And the fact that they're sitting at 7-7 and are still tied for first place with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, the problem is they cannot win a tiebreaker over Tampa Bay right now, even no matter what happens in that head-to-head matchup that's coming up next week in Tampa Bay. So the Saints could win out. I just was watching Get Up on ESPN, and they had the full breakdown of all the NFC teams that are 7-7. There's going to be a divisional spot, obviously from NFC South, and then 2 wild cards, and the Saints could really make a push and potentially make the playoffs.
Wow.
Bucks have to lose, so the Bucks have the Jaguars this week, they've got the Saints next week, and then they've got the Panthers last, which, look, I know a lot of people talk about this Panthers team, but they have a good defense. We'll see what happens when the Bucks take on the Panthers. I do believe the Bucks will beat the Panthers, but Derek Brown, somebody who I used to cover at Auburn way back in the day, back in 2017, he said after the game, we wanted to make sure the Falcons were on vacation with us, so that's why we played today. And I'm like, all right, bring that same energy for the Bucks.
Yes.
And the Saints will be in the playoffs potentially. So look, all these guys still have something to play for. I think it's exciting that we're talking about good football December 19th. I didn't think we'd get here, to be honest with you, but the Saints are putting together some good work. Now they just need to stack wins. Can it be consistent? Can they put together another win? This Thursday, I think the extra red zone practices have paid off so much for this team. I think some of the schemes they've switched up on defense have helped a lot. We've seen more, we've seen 3- and 4-man rush. We've seen them kind of switch up how they're playing the linebackers, including Zach Bond, who this past week worked with the pass rushers on the defensive end. I kept looking over there. I'm like, I can't believe they're doing this. It's about damn time. Like, let's. Right. and it worked. Zach Bond was a big part. Look, he didn't have the stats and the glowing numbers that like a Demario Davis had, but he was absolutely a part of that sack total. He was in there getting pressure on the quarterback. He is somebody who the Saints have maybe unlocked something, and it's not a bad thing to figure out your team this late in the season. You can look across the NFC right now, and some teams are trending down. Meanwhile, the Saints have trended up just for one game. I want to be clear on that. They could go to LA and lay an egg, but if they put together another really good game plan, it could be Saints fans, you could be paying for a playoff ticket. I don't know if the tickets are going to be as cheap as they are right now, but see what happens.
You don't hold a candle to Carolina. Yeah, 45 cents to get into a Panthers game.
Build yourself a lemonade stand this weekend, kids. Get some Saints playoff tickets.
There you go.
Enjoy La La Land, Brooke. We'll talk to you next week. Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Merry Christmas, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, there she is, Brooke Kirchhofer from New Orleans.football. We will talk to her next week as she's out in L.A. this week with the Saints as the Saints take on the Rams Thursday night. A little short week here for the Saints, who are winners of 2 in a row and now find themselves 7-7 on the season with a playoff spot and a possible run at the NFC South on the line. Don't do it to me.
Don't make me care.
Be drafting 13 through 17 every year.
But if they do run into the Cowboys, I think that would be their possible matchup for either a wild card or a divisional game. And the NFC, that they could sneak up on the Cowboys. You saw what happened against the Eagles. Against the Bills, I'm sorry, where that's the Cowboys I know.
Dak at home, Dak on the road is a totally different player.
Yep, exactly. You get him away from that
Jerry's world.
The numbers at home are wild compared to on the road.
That's why he built the thing.
Yeah.
It's got some sort of probably moving the ground with a remote control.
If you build it, they will come.
Yes, and Jerry's going to be salty.
It's been built. They still haven't gotten those playoff wins to come yet.
LSU has more.
Yeah, they do. Texas might have more.
Yeah.
University. All right, we appreciate you being here in hour number 1. Remember, we're going to talk to Wilson Alexander coming up here in about 12 minutes. A lot of activity for LSU here. Lots to get to with Wilson Alexander on a couple of key targets for the Tigers in the transfer portal. How about some of the guys they've missed on? What's the official status of guys like Sage Ryan? Is he in the portal or not? Bryce Langston, is he in the portal or not? Where do we anticipate landing spots for guys that are in the portal for LSU? How many guys are they in on? So a lot to get to with Wilson Alexander. If you have a specific question for Wilson that you want to get asked, jump inside of the chat and drop it there, and we'll make sure and send it over to Wilson coming up here in about 15 minutes here on the show. As always, we appreciate you being here, and make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button if you have not subscribed. Subscribe to the channel before we get out of here at 9 a.m. We'll be right back. Hour 2 coming at you here. Jordy Culotta Show, built every day by R&B.
To the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bounce a
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport.
That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah. Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
Hey, Greg, the roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up. Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Well, the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on.
Did you do it?
Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with the concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262, 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Like John Morant, you know that I'm lit. Making plays like Jack Bash, I'm never gonna sit. Had to be patient, so I waited for the situation. Now that I'm focused, I'ma take it with no hesitation. The hard times that I hated gave me inspiration. Look in the eyes from my kids gave me motivation. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up.
And welcome back, Jordy Culotta Show, live here, hour 2. Brought to you as always by R&B, live here on the Click Here Digital campus. Remember, Click Here Digital for all of your digital marketing needs. Online, clickheredigital.com. Google ads, social media ads, any type of content creation you may be looking for. Get in touch with us over here at Click Here Digital. Online, clickheredigital.com, and hit me at, give me an email if you want a direct contact, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Sad story coming across the wire here over the last 30 minutes, and our friend Marlon Favright tweeting this out this morning. Big Fave, of course, of the LSU Sports Radio Network and on the 2007 National Championship team, one of New Orleans' finest, and tweeted out this morning, and I'm tweeting and I'm reading right from Marlon Favright's social media account. This one hurts. Speechless understatement. My D-line blood brother, sweat and tears. Them 110s long football practices. I'm going to miss you, bro. Condolences to your family. I pray God gives them the serenity and time. You're with God now, champ. R.I.P. to Raheem Alim, former defensive end for LSU. He is was a part of the 07 National Championship team. He's Chad Jones' brother. If you remember Chad Jones' brother, his name was Al Jones during recruiting, and he went through a transformation, both with his faith and made a name change, I believe, right before he got to LSU. I think it was in between high school and college when he made the official name change to Raheem Alim, but came to LSU and played defense here. And then this morning, the news, there's no story on how it happened. There's no story on what went down, but just a former LSU player in Raheem Alim passes away this morning. So just thoughts and prayers, I know is something that's overstated, but obviously with his family. I remember I took a class at LSU one summer in 07, a leadership class in a summer course, and Raheem Alim was in that class. And I'm telling you, to this day, one of the most naturally intimidating people you have ever met. But when you cracked him, he was as sweet and as kind-hearted of a man that you had met. And man, that one hits hard, because he and I used to sit in the back of this leadership class, and it was a great class, but he was, he was kind of a philosophical dude. I mean, he was really, he was always
a curious mind,
very deep. Mm-hmm. It was easy to get into a deep conversation with him, just kind of like very organically, and he was somebody that was very, very interesting. So, man, I am so very sorry to his family to hear the news this morning that Raheem Alim, former LSU defensive lineman, passes away. That's sad news, and no way to transition out of that. But every Tuesday, we talk LSU football with Wilson Alexander. Wilson covers the program for The Advocate and NOLA.com. He's an award-winning journalist here in Baton Rouge that covers the program, so it's always great to catch up with him. And there's a lot of news happening right now, Wilson, whether it's transfer portal or high school recruiting or even bowl preparation. Let's start with the Heisman Trophy winner. It's good to see you, Wilson. Good morning. But the Heisman Trophy winner yesterday made it official. I don't think surprising to the college football world that he is deciding to forgo the ReliaQuest Bowl and begin his draft preparation, and he made that official yesterday on his birthday.
Yes, he did. And good morning, Jordy. How you doing today? It was, like you said, expected that this was coming. It was just kind of a matter of what time he was going to announce it. And I guess in retrospect, it made a lot of sense to do it yesterday. He turned 23. He had scheduled a few charity events. One was with LSU's whole football team. One was in the morning with Raising Cane's, doing a bike giveaway over there with Todd Graves. And so it kind of made sense between those events to come out with the video that he did. And this was something that LSU's certainly been aware of for a little while, but he was just a matter of when Jaden wanted to come out with it. And so now we get to see Garrett Nussmeier in the bowl game and get a preview of maybe what next year looks like. And so, this is kind of what Jaden felt like was the right time. He said that he had poured everything he had into college football, and that this sort of just felt like the right decision for him. And I don't blame him one bit, because all he really had was something to lose, really, in this game, risking injury or something like that, and possibly damaging his draft stock if he were to get hurt. So it is good, but he also said that he was going to be at the game, and that's not something you usually hear from folks who opt out. But he wants to be there and support his teammates.
Yeah, and his teammates, a couple of them, it seems like are going to play, are his top targets, Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. This is something that we've speculated and talked a little bit about before here on this segment and on this show. I guess I'm not surprised to hear that. I wonder how long they'll be on the field, but it is good to hear that Nussmeier will have at least two of college football's best to throw at for a bit of that game.
Yeah, reaffirmed with Malik himself yesterday that he was going to play. He said yes. And Brian, that was right after Brian Kelly had said that they don't expect any other opt-outs. And we've seen them on the field practicing, we saw them in the video that LSU released last week, but as I understand it, they've continued to practice, and we're actually going to see later today at practice, and so we'll be able to see them there practicing as well. And it's kind of a good thing for Garrett Nussmeier and a way to be able to properly maybe judge in some ways exactly how he plays, because the only thing that you're really taking out of the offense from what we understand is Jaden and putting in Garrett. So you've got this, everything else is going to be constant around him. And so that he's going to have kind of the best chance to succeed. It's not like he's going to be playing with the twos. And so we'll be able to really get a good sense of how he plays in this game, because everything else around him will be the same on this offense. The only thing that might be different is maybe some schematic stuff where Brian Kelly said they're going to fit the offense to him. It'll be fascinating to see kind of what that looks like and how much they're airing it out, because we all know that's what Garrett likes to do.
On the same day, some news was made about one player foregoing the bowl game. You get the news that Kyron Lacey is coming back next year. I don't know necessarily if that's breaking news, but it does mean that you have a veteran in that wide receiver room next season. What's it mean for Lacey's presence on next year's team?
He's got a chance to be wide receiver one, and we'll see if he can kind of step up and take that mantle. 460-ish yards this season, 7 touchdowns. Kyron actually is leading LSU in yards per catch right now at 19.3. And that's just slightly ahead of Malik and Brian. He's had some drops earlier in the year, but he kind of got past those, ends up starting the last 8 games. Now you've got somebody with some experience coming back next year, and that's really significant because obviously Xavier Thomas had 40 catches over at Mississippi State, but in terms of LSU's team this year, only Chris Hilton and Aaron Anderson are the only other receivers who had catches. And they didn't have a whole lot of them. And so LSU's obviously got some freshmen, too, who really like Shelton Sampson, of course, Jalen Brown, Kyle Parker. But none of them had a catch this year. And that's hard to rely on going into next season. We just look at guys like Malik and Brian and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson all had their real breakouts as juniors. And so it might take a year or two for these freshmen to turn into those kinds of players, and maybe they can contribute more next season. But Kyron's somebody now who's played a good bit of football and is going to be able to be at least, maybe more consistent presence in that room because of what he's already done. It really helps to bring him back and have somebody who has produced a little bit more already.
Wilson, we saw and knew LSU was in the quarterback market in the portal. They land on A.J. Swan yesterday, a guy out of Vanderbilt who comes in with starting experience. What'd you make of the pickup?
It kind of fit what LSU needed out of a transfer quarterback. AJ is somebody who's got some starting experience at Vanderbilt. He started 6 games this season, started a few games as a freshman as well. Even as a freshman, he went 159 straight pass attempts to start his career without an interception. It was the best start to a career in that regard in the Southeastern Conference since 2002. But he also had some struggles. He is, I think, just under 60% completion percentage in his career. He threw 7 interceptions this year. 3 of them were in one game against Kentucky. But it's somebody who can come in who has started a little bit so he can compete with Garrett Nussmeier, and will let LSU in that way can let the cream rise to the top and see if AJ can unseat him. But if not, then he's a reliable, at least a more experienced backup. There's a good insurance policy there because Ricky Collins has only thrown 2 passes in his career. And so now you've got somebody who's played a little bit more football, regardless of who wins the job, as long as they can keep Garrett as well. Whoever your number 2 is next year ends up being a little bit more experienced, and that's just a much more comfortable position to be in. And we'll see kind of what AJ can do, maybe a little bit more in spring practice. And I would assume, I think anyway, that's when he's coming. I'm not sure, I don't have that confirmed yet necessarily, but we'll be able to get a better sense of that as he's practicing exactly who's winning that job. And regardless of who wins it, LSU's got a more comfortable position now in its quarterback room going into next year because it's got somebody there with a little bit more experience.
You mentioned Xavier Thomas when we were talking about the wide receiver room. He pledged to LSU earlier this week out of the portal from Mississippi State. Thomas, more of a dual threat guy, can help you in the receiving room. Also a proven punt returner, Wilson. We talked about that element earlier in the show that, look, LSU's probably going to regress from being the number 1 offense in the country next season. It's going to be tough to do that back-to-back. They still could be good. Rather than the number 1 unit remains to be seen. They need to get back to a game-breaking threat at special teams and punt returner. Does Xavier Thomas give him that guy?
He should. I mean, on the surface, and the statistic, he's averaged 12.6 yards per punt return in his career. And get this, LSU this season has had 6 punt returns.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
A wow. Xavier himself had quite a bit more than that. And he's, already had a punt return for a touchdown in his career. He also brings an element in the kickoff return game that LSU necessarily had. But particularly in the punt return game, that seems like where he's going to make an immediate difference, regardless of even what he does at wide receiver necessarily. If he can be an electric returner and at least get them set up a little bit better on drives, that's going to be a major difference for this offense, for this team. Because like you said, this past year, they only had the 6 punt returns. They didn't need any more because this offense was so good. Just get the ball back to Jaden Daniels, let him and Malik and all of those guys work. But next year, you'd like to be able to make a little bit more of a difference there. And Xavier seems like he's got the kind of talent in the return game to be able to do that.
They pick up another one in Jordan Gilbert, the safety, a Baton Rouge native here. Obviously, both of these guys have Louisiana ties. We've seen that. Is that the angle? I mean, when Louisiana talent jumps in the portal, LSU seems to be first in line there.
Yeah, that's always been a strategy for Brian Kelly and the staff ever since the beginning. He has talked about, wanting to get guys from Louisiana, or at least with a Louisiana tie of some kind, back to LSU if they go into the transfer portal. So anytime anytime a Louisiana guy enters the portal, I think everybody's eyebrows kind of raised and say, "Oh, is he the next one?" Because it's a logical sort of thing for LSU to do. There's this tie here with this being the only in-state Power 5 school, that LSU's got that advantage in that way, and it's been working that over the last few years in the transfer portal under this staff, and Jordan's another example of that. And it's also a great addition for them at safety. A guy who started, of course, 10 games back in 2022 with A&M, started the first 2 this year before his shoulder injury. That's somebody who should be able to slide immediately, or at least I think you can go ahead and pencil into the lineup next year back there at safety.
Do you get an idea of, or Wilson, how do you report this Sage Ryan story? Is he in the portal or not?
It's interesting because, of course, he said that he is would be entering the transfer portal effective immediately. Those were his words. But, like we said, apparently he's not actually officially in the portal yet. Sometimes the paperwork takes a few days. We'll see if he's at practice. I think that would be one thing that's notable to look for. But that would be an indication, of course, that maybe he's coming back out of the portal. It's hard to tell. At this point, all we know is that Sage has still said that he would be entering the transfer portal. LSU had a team event yesterday at Walmart where it was shopping with kids. Sage Ryan was not there, and so as far as we know, he's still, those are still his plans. And unless something changes, I think that would be the I guess you could say assumption on that, because that's what he said publicly at this point.
Yeah, Wilson. Obviously, I mean, does that hurt the corner room or the safety room more if he's not there?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because he's played both positions. Based on what LSU probably has right now, it probably hurts the cornerback room more because he started there all year. LSU right now at corner is pretty thin. It was kind of this funny moment in Walmart yesterday. We were with Brian Kelly and at one point and watching them shop and stuff, and he saw Isaiah Alexander, who had a crutch and was limping. Clearly had some kind of brace on underneath because of the leg injury that he suffered. And Brian Kelly cracked a joke about maybe he's like, "Oh, you're looking better. Maybe you can actually play at the bowl game," and because we're so low on corners. And obviously, he was just kidding. Brian Kelly jokes like Zion's not going to be able to play, but they are really thin there. With Javian Toviano and Ashton Stamps and Jeremiah Hughes, are probably the only ones who are going to be available in the bowl game right now after LaTerrence Welch transferred out, and J.K. Johnson. We don't know if he would be able to get back yet. We saw him yesterday as well. No cast or anything like that, but the last update we had on him during the season was that he was just getting back to anti-gravity running, not able to put run pressure on and run at that point. That was maybe a month ago or so, and so it probably hurts the cornerback room more because there's more uncertainty and fewer bodies in that room.
Tomorrow is the early signing period, Wilson, for college football and the fall athletes. What do you make of LSU? Do you anticipate any news, anything to break, or just kind of status quo here?
I anticipate status quo. Everything I've heard is that they expect all 27 of their current commitments to sign, and that to not be very much drama, which is certainly different from what we're used to on signing days in the past. Maybe they'll sign Cohen Eccles later in the period. I think he's expected to sign make his decision on Friday, but it sounds like maybe he might go to Auburn. We'll see how that shakes out. But it seems like LSU's really, in terms of finishing up this class, the attention now is really on February. Maybe trying to land Dominic McKinley and Terry Bussey. But in terms of what's going to happen here tomorrow, I think it's going to be very quiet and kind of regular, almost a boring signing day, but that's a better position for LSU to be in instead of trying to find out if it's landing any key commitments on signing day. It's already got everybody in the class wrapped up, and they're all expected to sign tomorrow.
Wilson, any news on the front? I know nothing officially being reported, but anything kind of behind the scenes that you're hearing on a timeline that Kelly may be looking to? He talked about the coaching evaluations being a part of last week. Is there anything that could come from that?
Yeah, we'll see. I don't have anything firm in that regard in terms of a timeline because, like you said, Brian Kelly said that when he last spoke that evaluations are a week away. That would put them about now, but LSU was trying to, the dead period just started. So if he hasn't done his evaluations already, which I believe he has probably been doing his evaluations really for a while, then they'd be going on right about now. But in terms of timeline, It seemed like they wanted to certainly get through the dead period. They've gotten through that, and so now we'll see if he starts to make some moves. If he doesn't start to make them now, then he's probably waiting until after the bowl game, and then that's when something would happen, or at least something more firm, and we'll get a better idea. But unfortunately, I don't have a great idea right now because I think Brian Kelly's kept it pretty close to the vest in terms of what his timeline's going to be.
Yeah, Wilson, one from our listeners, and we'll get you out of here. Appreciate you, buddy. Good to see you. Tackett Curtis's name goes into the portal. I've said about the linebacking class here in this recruiting cycle that it's as good as any position group that they've recruited since Brian Kelly has been here. And obviously you've got Harold Perkins and Greg Penn returning at that position along with Whit Weeks. Have you heard anything on Tackett Curtis, and could he be in play for LSU?
I haven't heard anything just yet because I think that just happened yesterday, or maybe like late yesterday. But that's one of those things where we're talking about, Louisiana enters the portal. Everybody kind of raises an eyebrow. That's one of them certainly, and especially a guy who played a good bit of football this past year at USC. But he was always headed out to USC during the recruitment process. So it'd be interesting to see if LSU wants to get involved in this because, like you said, it's not in a bad way at linebacker, especially with Weeks coming back too. And you've got some guys in that room that you start to feel pretty good about. But if you can add him, it's certainly not a bad thing because of what he's already done as a freshman over at USC and being a Louisiana native. So we'll see. I think I'm not totally sure yet if they're going to go in that direction if there's interest on LSU's end. But it's certainly an intriguing one to keep an eye on as another Louisiana native.
Merry Christmas, Wilson. Have a great weekend and a great week. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
I expect to see the Whit
Merry Christmas, everybody. I'll have a good one.
That's right. Later, buddy.
Oh, no, he took him out.
Oh, no. Did he really? Damn.
Yeah, we saw him at Walmart yesterday. He'd already undone it.
Damn. You're up next, Wilson.
That's right.
Hair's too
Pass
good,
the
bro.
torch.
Later, man.
Me and you.
There he is.
Bye,
Wilson
y'all.
Alexander checking in from the Advocate, NOLA.com. Oh, man. That's
Breaking news.
Golly.
Damn it.
That was the biggest piece of news we got out of the interview.
I mean, we got a week from it.
I guess, a week with the braids is
tough.
It's tough to keep those things
taut.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a lifestyle choice.
I would not count on Tackett Curtis coming to LSU.
Me either.
You don't think so?
No. In fact, I've heard that Notre Dame's a lead school for him.
Oh, we think so.
He is big. USC, Notre Dame.
Big look at me energy.
Tackett is exactly who you think he is.
He is.
Like
big look at me energy.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler Singleton.
And by no means am I saying that I do not want
thing.
Tackett Curtis at LSU.
No.
But I'm just saying I don't think that LSU. I don't think that LSU fits the brand.
It's always upper body day for Tackett.
That's right.
Biceps first.
That's right.
Muscles.
Beach day.
Beach day.
That's right.
It's going to be an extra in the next Top Gun.
The day ended why? We're doing biceps.
Yeah, biceps.
Tyler Singleton or Tackett Curtis.
Tyler Singleton all day.
Every day.
Right.
But that's 10
out of 10.
That's where you would think that LSU would have somewhat of an end because a lot of Manny guys have been going to LSU.
And Joe Cryer's coming. He went to Manny. So, I mean.
It just felt like that. He was the last of the.
He transferred over to Natchitoches Central with the
coach.
What a grab on the way out the door.
Transfer portal.
Tackett's Twitter has been interesting, though. He's been
a lot of Tackett on there.
A lot of Tackett, a lot of LSU, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love to see him come to LSU, and I think he could fight and probably find some quality minutes, quality reps.
I would also say that LSU's linebacking room is as good as they have on the roster.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm trying to remember when LSU's linebacking room has been this good.
I mean, I could go you'd have to go back to Deion Jones, Kendall Beckwith type, with the depth. I'm saying
Duke Riley was in that room.
right? You had a little Donnie Alexander was a little, you know.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Roof online, GEAUXroof.com. Go Roof is locally owned right here in Baton Rouge, 225-927-8300. Let them help you today with residential or commercial roofing problems that you're having. If you need a brand new roof, they can install that for you today. If you just need roof maintenances, they can check that box as well. Online, GEAUXroof.com. GEAUXroof.com. A beautiful roof every single time. Roof's up with our friends over at Go Roof. You get that 2-year free workmanship guarantee with all new roof installations. So if you do need a new roof installed, they'll jump up on the roof today, let you know and diagnose the problem, and they'll work directly with the insurance company to help you out with it. Online, GEAUXroof.com. Competitive pricing, free quotes Free roof inspections today. They'll jump up on the roof. 225-927-8300. Whether it is residential roofing, commercial roofing, or you just need roofing repairs, our friends at Go Roof can handle all of it. Online, GEAUXroof.com. We'll be back and close it out here on the Jordy Culotta Show, live here on this Tuesday, heading into Christmas from Click Here Digital.
Christmas.
Drive by and let it ride like I'm whipping a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit. Can't fit on my schedule. I'ma do what's best for me. You can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us.
Get it done! Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
Sticking the roof in.
For a hole in your roof, or a whole new roof, Go Roof. Roof, roof, Go Roof.
Hey, Greg, the roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up!
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
Well, the Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the block like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Hit up DJ, tell him go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. They say that life's a marathon, man, shout out to Nip. They start to think you falling off and they starting to flip. Circumstances start to change and they jump in the ship. Only ones that really matter, who's tied to your hip. They tried to push you to the side cause they thought you would quit. May bend but never break, your cloth is legit. When you return in rare form, they all gonna be sick. You ever seen a living legend, just know that I'm it. Slow grind like IT, just know that I'm it. Now I'm back up in my bag, I'm giving them fits. Bouncing back like John Morant, you know.
Welcome back, Jordy Culotta Show live here on this Tuesday as we head into Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone out there. Big Christmas party week.
Chinooka.
Happy Chinooka.
Happy
out there.
I don't know what that is.
Smokey Robinson and the staff.
I'm gonna walk in Christmas this year and be like, Happy Chinooka. I don't know what that is, but hey. Everybody
I'll say anything if you pay me.
Exactly. I don't know what I'm talking about. But
Smokey put it all on the line. Like all of it. This is one of like Motown's original artists. Like, maybe like the OG of OGs of Motown. And just is like on my Cameo where somebody pays him at the most $300.
No, if that. Like, I don't know what it is.
At the most.
I don't know. I don't know.
$300.
Right.
To read the script.
Can you play it? Because I love how he starts it off as he's like
he's finding his weaving his way through it. He's like
He's like, one of your sons told me that we lived across from each other in Detroit. Well, it's good to talk to you again.
I wonder how you've been.
Like, it's great to see you, great to talk to you.
Or send you this type of video. It's just unbelievable. And like you said, to not know what you're about to say and then still say it, be like,
because look, man,
what's the worst that can happen? A lot.
I mean, the microphone is a powerful place. The camera is a powerful place. I mean, ask Rashard Mendenhall how he's feeling today. You know what I mean?
Nobody has the ability to go viral like Rashard Mendenhall. I mean, like he just pops up.
It can happen real quick.
It's a hell of a hypothetical.
But for Smokey to put it all on the line. I mean, like Smokey risked. I mean, he risked it all
just for the
Chinooka.
$50.
I mean, like
for Chinooka, man.
Did the 300 go through yet?
Yeah,
we're good. Smoke.
Was that good?
Happy Chinooka.
All right, I'll do it again.
And they want me to.
Let me know when you have that, Stewie.
I've never had like a Christmas office party type deal.
Really?
We did. I think we did one at the old spot where they enticed us with like a gas card. And we showed up. I was like, I don't even know anybody here. You weren't there.
I'd like I've never been to a Christmas office party.
I guess we did.
What?
Never.
In A-Town, Christmas was a huge deal for the jewelry community.
Oh,
so that wasn't really a party. That was like your hair's on fire.
Yeah, for sure.
And because everybody that comes in, it's the best time of the year, but it's the most hectic because people that come in this week, Coach, I got you by the cajones.
Yeah.
Because
you need a gift.
You need a gift, and it's 2 days away.
Right.
That commission's looking real nice today, boys.
Just dried up.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right.
We had 25% off.
If you just stopped by yesterday, you'd have been good.
Right. No, that ran out on Monday.
Chinooka.
Here we go.
And they want me to wish you happy Chinooka. I have no idea what Chinooka is, but happy Chinooka because they said so. Anyway, God bless you, babe, and enjoy Chinooka. Have a wonderful time. And they want me to wish you happy Chinooka.
I have no idea what Chinooka is.
I have no idea what Chinooka
Doubles
is.
down. Happy Chinooka.
Yeah, right.
Happy Chinooka again.
That's the best.
Tyjee Hill has entered the transfer portal. Tyjee Hill, the defensive tackle out of Edna Carr, a part of the 2021 recruiting class.
Yes, we had him on the show.
Great
interview.
Casualty to war, I would think.
The portal.
War of attrition.
Just hate to see any defensive tackle or any defensive back go into the portal.
Yeah.
Or you could argue for both, maybe, that it's people are getting better. Like you're pulling in they're starting to look around the room and go, maybe Mekhi Wingo's coming back. Maybe Mason Smith is coming back.
Or like Gabe Rutherford's coming in.
Right.
You know, Don McKinley might be coming in. So it's like
be good. That'd be
you look at those numbers and you're like, oh shit! Like Gabe Rutherford can play.
Like, he just got his 4th star.
To me, like I think you need a 7 or 8 man rotation on the defensive line to be elite at that position.
I mean, look at Florida State. When they played LSU, they were running in 4.
Well, just the height of every team that has been dominant on that side of the ball has always had depth on the defensive line. And I think up to this point, Tygee Hill's that's the biggest player they've lost.
No, I mean, if it's true
Quincy?
about
Quincy, yeah.
Well, I was going to say if it's true about Sage Ryan, that's still a legitimate starter.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm waiting on that to be official.
That's what I'm saying. If it's official, it would be, I think,
I mean,
Sage
of the
Ryan
names that are
class.
officially in the portal right now, Quincy Wiggins and Tygee Hill,
2 biggest.
compared to Fitzgerald West. Help me out. Who else is in there? The offensive lineman, Marlon Martinez. I would even put Bryce Langston's name in there if he goes in there officially. Like, to me, how can't these guys play? Like, Quincy Wiggins and a guy like Tygee Hill are the biggest. They're the ones that miss out the most on not having a defensive line coach. Yeah. Mason Smith and Mekhi Wingo don't necessarily miss as much. Do those guys miss? Yes, they do, because they're still young enough in their football career where they still need to be learning. They still need to be developing. I mean, Mason Smith has no business running the drills on a practice football field. You know, I mean, whether he's the most talented or not, he still has more to learn about the position, the trade of what it takes to be a pro, and he needs somebody in his ear every single day. Is it as critical as it would be to have somebody coaching up Quincy Wiggins or Tygee Hill? Absolutely not. Like, those two guys, to me, are, you know, the real ones that lose out on this season of what was the defensive line situation at LSU. I'm not casting any blame to anyone. The hand that LSU was dealt with Jimmy Lindsey going down medically the night before training camp starts is about as bad of a break as you can get. And I don't mean to be lighthearted on the medical situation. Obviously, Coach Lindsey, we think and hope and pray that he can get back to health and, you know, get back up and moving in society. But, you know, as far as helping out the 2023 LSU football team and developing defensive linemen, LSU missed on that, right? I mean, they missed out on having somebody every single day coach the position that, you know, was necessarily there throughout the summer, built the relationship, had the trust, could get in the film room, could really talk to guys critically and break down their game and you know, get them improving. And guys like Wiggins and Hill, you know, I mean, it may not feel like a lot in losing them, but to lose the hit on the rotation, that hurts. That hurts. I mean, I don't even know if they were set to be in the rotation. But at this point in their career, they should be. And, you know, I mean, I would think that whoever comes in here next, or if there is a turnover on the defensive line position coach, you know, I mean, those will be two guys that they look back on and be like, man, we'd love to have those guys in the room. Just from a bodies, rotation, you know, I mean, the biggest head scratcher for me on guys like Hill and Wiggins, and we voiced this more on Wiggins than Hill at points during the season, is if you're as bad as you are, as LSU was defensively, how don't guys like that get 6 to 10 snaps a game of just, let me see what happens when you go in the game? And not to say they're going to be, you know, Glenn Dorsey and Arden Key, but it's just, it's two different bodies that you can run out there to keep the other guys fresh, to give them a break, whatever it is. But, I mean, that's a setback. You know, I mean, it may not be costly to the program, but of the guys that have gone into the portal for LSU up to this point, Hill and Wiggins sting the most because they're at a position group that they need rotation. They need line play. They need guys that can go in there and give you quality snaps. So,
yeah, but like I said, I think there's probably a little bit of layers to this as to why they're. I mean, Taiji Hill played in 2 games this year, and obviously Quincy couldn't get on the field. So I think it's, like Stu said, a war of attrition at a point where you're starting to see the recruiting get better after a year where Taiji Hill you had to take.
Yeah.
You know, like you were just at a point trying to recruit for LSU that anybody in the state you wanted to come to LSU because you had 38 people on the team.
Mm-hmm. And you had a bunch of state kids going to Alabama, going to Texas A&M, going to
Texas,
going to Texas, going to, you know.
So you got bodies, and then, like you said, it's a combination of things, especially on the defensive line front, where you just, if you're not going to get developed or you don't know who your coach is, let me go look around and see if I can get 1 playing time, and 2, maybe I can get developed. Because that's what makes the most sense for Quincy. Obviously, he looks the part. He just has to be coached. This is his what? Third year of playing football?
College football. This is his 3rd year of college football.
5th year overall.
Football. So.
Wiggins?
Yeah. So, like, he hasn't played. And
but look, I don't buy the excuse that should keep him off the field. He should be ready to play.
I mean, at this point, he's 2 years in.
You know,
it's like,
right? If you're a second year player, if you're going into your 3rd year at LSU and you have not played,
that's when you start looking
the
around.
attrition and the cycle should tell you should probably start looking.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in years past, if you're recruiting at a high level like LSU has been, there's somebody behind you that's going to take your spot or already has. You know, and not only take the starting spot, but take the backup role as well. So, you know, I mean, and in today's college football world, you don't hang on to a lot of depth that doesn't play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I understand that, you know, I mean, guys like Hill and Wiggins have been in the system for, you know, in Hill's case, 3 years. For Wiggins' case, he's 2 years in. And they're not logging a lot of snaps. In today's college football world, you're going to lose those guys.
Yep.
Right? I mean, so I understand it. I mean, I get it. It's just, you know, reacting to some of the names in the portal. It sucks because you just need rotation. You need depth.
Yeah, like you said, you've seen the best teams that run out there every year, like Georgia's, Alabama's, when you can rotate. I mean, you do a hockey shift change, and it's like, oh God, there's no drop off. I mean, LSU has that. It's just on, like, it feels like it's the offensive line.
Yeah,
right.
It's not on the defensive line for sure. Because you could watch the games and see sometimes they don't even sub.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, that was the deal about Mason Smith early in the year.
I mean he's tired.
He's hugging his hips because, I mean, they're not getting him off the field.
Like, I mean, it's 3rd down and 15, but Mason Smith is dog tired.
I mean,
he's been rushing the whole game. It's like, all right, get him off the field. Like,
same thing started to happen to Harold Perkins. You saw it against A&M, or I think it was the A&M game or the Florida game where he was coming off the field on 3rd down because first of all, you can't get off the field on 3rd down. So when you're working on your third down, like that, you're up to 9 plays, 12 plays of him trying to rush the passer. He's like, Coach, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I need one.
Yeah, I need 2 reps, and you don't have anybody to replace him with. So like when Harold Perkins gets tired, that's when you saw offenses be able to kind of do whatever they wanted, and it's because you don't have any depth. Like I'm looking at the total defense for this year. How many sacks do you think they had?
26.
Yep.
I looked last night.
How many sacks did they give up?
Probably
like
20.
No, I would
22.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say it's close. Like, it wasn't a lot.
But you had 26 sacks.
Yeah.
And you gave up.
I mean, they were going weeks without sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, and the 3rd down conversion rate was 56%.
And I mean that's really frustrating because you look at it, people like Braden Swenson, and it's like he's getting 10 snaps a game, and it's like
he's balling.
He's the one that's getting the pressure and probably getting the sacks. Like,
I mean, it was him and
Harold Perkins sometimes, and I mean
Deshaun Womack.
Every
time he gets in there, it's at least a pressure.
The numbers he put up that was the most, I guess. And I guess you have to, at some point, say, hey, he doesn't know how to do anything but rush the passer, kind of like Perkins last year, where you can't play him every snap if you want to fall down into that line of thinking. But at some point, put him on the field. Every time he played, something happened.
Yeah, but my thing with that is, like, this kid's been playing defensive end his whole life.
Right.
He has not played any other position. How does he not know how to play defensive end? Like, I don't know the structure of the defense. I don't know what they like to do, but I mean,
I don't think
all you need to learn is stunts, holding the edge, and
which they don't do.
They are horrible at holding the edge, and he'd be a
at
perfect edge player to hold that edge because he's athletic.
No more edging in my classroom.
Right, he's athletic enough to run, to run down the edge runs. He's it's just so. It's
it was
very
frustrating because he flashed, he pops.
Yes.
He's one of those guys that you want, and if you want a rotation, sure, but I would like to see him rotated in more than 3 snaps a game when he gets 3 pressures and a sack. And that's why this bowl game is intriguing to me. Just from, all right, Jane Daniels did you a favor by announcing at this point.
Yeah, it gave you enough time.
Exactly. So now you know what you're getting going forward, and obviously Malik wants the record. I think him and BT are close, so they're all right, let's do it together. And Brian Thomas could help himself probably. He's still trying to improve draft stock.
Yeah.
And he hasn't
Kansas
announced.
City needs a wide receiver.
Yeah, and he hasn't announced that he's leaving, but I'd imagine he will. No. But you get to see, I think this will be a Braden Swinson game. I think it'll be a Deshaun Walmack game where you get to see them get the majority of the snap. Let's see what next year looks like. So that's what that's why I'm excited to watch the game. Tanner Mordecai doesn't really move the needle for me.
Tanner Mordecai,
5th-year senior.
5th-year senior.
7
if you're
touchdowns.
a 5th-year senior in anything in college, the scouting report's lead statement, opening line on you is he ain't no good. I mean, think about it. If you're a redshirt senior in college basketball,
oh my goodness.
If you're a redshirt senior in
baseball,
college volleyball, a redshirt senior in.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say sports like volleyball, women's basketball, stuff like that. Okay, but basketball, men's basketball, if you're a 5th-year senior,
you're trying to get that education.
You just enjoy playing basketball. Baseball for sure. If you have a 5th year
injury,
you
better be.
Yeah.
Don't even think about the pros because they don't care.
5th-year quarterback.
Yeah, that's
if you're a 5th-year quarterback.
See you, dog.
Why are you dodging the NFL, or is the NFL just dodging you?
Enjoy that insurance agency, right?
Yeah, Tanner Mordecai, Happy Chinooka, 1,600 yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, 4 picks. That's compared to Jaden Daniels, who plays quarterback for LSU, will not play in the bowl game. But just to give you a comparison, 3,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 1,200 yards rushing.
Yeah, should be a fun game.
That's if LSU can't stop Tanner Mordecai, you have a real issue on the defensive front.
Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels were 5th-year seniors.
Yeah.
But they were all
hoping nobody was going to say
Joe
that.
Burrow also didn't play his first 3 years. He was behind 3 first-round picks at quarterback at Ohio State.
You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm talking about Tanner Mordecai. I'm not talking about Joe Burrow.
Call me Larry. The linebacker core didn't live up to the standard this season, but they will be better next year. If you have not looked at the recruiting class, go look.
Yeah, I mean the recruiting class and the linebackers, it's the most talented group.
Yeah, I would say that or safety.
Yeah,
because I talked to Caskey yesterday about Deshaun McBride, and he said he is college ready. He is.
He looks it.
He said everything is ready.
Jeez.
He said he might have to have an adjustment to the physicality of college.
I'm sure, man.
But that's any 18-year-old freshman. So take with that what you
and
will.
He's very physical in high school right now. One of those, a little bit like Kylan Jackson, where you're oh God, they're coming with bad intentions.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing you'll get to see is some different people in the secondary because if Sage Ryan is whatever he decides to do, I don't think he's going to play in the bowl game if he's not even going to Walmart to help the kids.
Yeah.
They
don't even care about the kids.
So you get to see Kylan Jackson play, probably get some run Ashton Stamps.
That's who I want to see.
Yeah.
That's why I'm tuning in.
Yeah. I
want to see the youngsters.
Toviano.
I
love seeing Toviano.
Me too.
He looks so good.
He's
all uniform team.
He does.
And he'll be so good. Played? He'll be so good just because of everything that happened this year. And they were threw him to the fire against Bama. So it's kind of now I see it. It's the SEC. All right. I get this. I see the game y'all play. But I'm ready to see Toviano for sure.
Me too, man. Me too.
Hopefully they run some press coverage.
We're getting crushed on the 5th-year take.
That was y'all. I didn't say a word.
Crossroads, Michael Penix and Bo Nix were 5th-year seniors. Bo Nix is not going to be a good NFL quarterback.
No. Anybody who
give Bo Nix 10 years in college because he is not going to translate to the NFL. I
think he's playing in the bowl game.
Absolutely, he's playing in a bowl game. He wants as many college football games as he can get.
Got to get that college tape out here.
I mean, like, remember me in college?
This is still fun.
Ladies, check this highlight tape.
He's married.
I was at Oregon.
He's married. Yeah, don't look at don't find that other tape of me at Auburn.
Yeah.
One good game, it was against LSU.
Go look up that LSU game in 2021.
Where's Matthew Langlois?
He's been hurt.
Still?
Last
Concussion?
2 years. No, tore his ACL in camp.
The Catholic High Point Capee safety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're getting to that point.
Might be a war of attrition for him, too.
Yeah.
So.
2 years. Appeared in one game, season-ending injury in 2022 against Southern.
And then he did it again in camp this year.
Well.
Same knee, I think, too.
Damn.
Yep.
Gavin Dugas and Cade Beloso.
Yeah, you have a mix of experience.
But look at
talent.
where they went in the draft, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Like,
That's
the point that's being made here.
If you've got a 5-year in college, that's a huge advantage, right? I mean, like you've got the age, you've got the experience. I'm talking about what that means for the next level. The Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels things are outliers, obviously.
And Michael Penix, Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels.
Is Michael Penix? Do we agree that Michael Penix is going to translate to the NFL and be a really good quarterback?
And Michael Penix.
I mean, that slow delivery that can't move back there. I mean, you better put him behind what offensive line? I mean, like the best offensive line in the league?
I think the conversation that the battle you've lost.
I've lost.
The college
I've lost.
argument.
I've lost.
If you want to pivot to the NFL, then maybe you can have a leg to stand on.
I've lost, and it was a bad take. It happens. I mean, I'm here to admit it.
Look,
I'm
2
just
hours,
I'm
I'm
just
not
saying
perfect.
the translation into the NFL. Like, I'm not betting on Bo Nix to be any good.
No.
I would say that Michael Penix, I'm a little weary on him. Now, Jaden Daniels, a fifth-year guy, I'd bet on him.
The funky left-handed delivery.
Coach, that does not.
He looks like
he's not a projected first-round pick.
No, he was, and then he wasn't. But he looks
Bo
like
Nix isn't either.
He looks like he's throwing blind. Like he doesn't know where. I mean, he's accurate, but the Penix delivery. Delivery. He looks blind.
The delivery.
I have no idea where it's gonna go.
It's just weird.
He does,
but it's also left-handed, so you kinda get that.
I mean, that does not look like the NFL effective. You know what I mean? Like that just doesn't look like that's gonna play. Maybe I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Maybe. Bad take.
Max Johnson,
NFL quarterback.
Big
Brandon
Max Johnson.
His brother's going to North Carolina.
Is he?
Yeah.
Golly, man.
They got something.
Be your own dude.
Like, literally. Like, be your own man.
I mean, like, go play for the best quarterback in the country, man.
Gonna play with my brother.
Play with brother. 5-star.
I get it. I mean, it's been cool and all, but, I mean, I'm going somewhere else, man.
Like, bro, I'm going to Florida State.
He really hitched
We're
his wagon.
leaving the SEC? Why are we leaving here?
The money's all here.
You don't know what it's like to be recruited by
TCU's quarterback
Matt
is
Brown.
29, according to Hunter Hall. Who is their quarterback?
That sounds like a fifth-year guy.
Fifth year?
7th. Who is he, Brandon Whedon?
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate you being here. Like, share, comment. Make sure and subscribe. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. No show on Thursday. I'm calling it now. No show on Thursday. Got too many Christmas parties tomorrow night. I ain't going to make it. Unless you boys want to carry the torch.
Oh, no, I love a break.
Okay. All right. Day off Thursday.
Kick my feet up.
Unless something happens.
Yeah.
Which
Day off
possibly,
Friday?
it's signing day on Wednesday. I mean, like,
let's get weird.
I mean, if we either do an afternoon show on Wednesday or we just recap it Friday morning.
Wait, so Wednesday show, no show Thursday, no show Friday, no show Monday.
Are we no show on Friday?
I don't know. I was just saying that.
He's trying to.
If we're taking Thursday off.
He's trying to parlay himself into 2 days off.
Yeah.
It's smart, man.
We're not going to do a show Monday.
I can be, I can be negotiating with.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Right.
I love to do the show. It's back and then we're not, then we're back, then we're off again. Might as well just.
Shout out to Mickey Joseph. Mickey Joseph, head coach, Grambling State, announced it yesterday. Coach Joseph
State.
back in Louisiana, where he needs to be. Recruiting and now going to be building Grambling's football program. So congratulations to Mickey Joseph. Like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Big Grambling. Who was there? Hugh Jackson?
Hey, Chino. Put my headphones up. Monday through Friday. Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line.